So, this video is for our kindergarten through first grade friends for January week 3, January 23rd. It's actually the fourth Sunday in January, but we didn't have church the first Sunday, so it's our week 3. So all month long, we are learning about the life app of self-control, choosing to do what you should even when you don't want to. What a great life app. And our memory verse for this month is, God's power has given us everything we need to lead a godly life. 2 Peter 1:3. Super simple verse this month. So, week 1, we learned about being ready to do the right thing. Week 2, when you lose control, it can cause trouble. Week 3, we are jumping to the book of 1 Samuel 24, and we're looking at a crucial moment in David's life. He's been anointed as the next king of Israel, but King Saul is still around, and he is out to get David. As David is on the run from King Saul, he discovers the perfect opportunity to take out King Saul and be done with their feud. David paused and realized that taking matters into his own hands was not what God wanted for him, and he didn't let anger control his actions. So our bottom line, don't be controlled by your anger. Anger is a natural response to difficult situations. How we handle that anger is essential. As we learn to trust God no matter what, we discover how we can control our anger and not let it get the best of us. God can give us what we need to find ways to think and calm down before making an unwise decision that hurts others or ourselves. Wow. I know that is a lesson that is needed in our home for both my kids and definitely me. So jumping into our leader guide for this week, we'd love for you to join us in the garage room at 8:20 and 10:20 for coffee and donuts and prayer. It's just the perfect way to start off our morning. Remember why we're here doing what we're doing. Then just make sure that you're in your small group area by 8:30 and 10:30 so that the directors know that we've got all of our leaders here, and just so you can be prepared. Kids will start to roll in at 8:40 and 10:40, and the first little intro activity is called Angry Expressions. So what you're going to do is you're just going to ask kiddos when they arrive if they know some creative ways that they've heard people say that they're angry or mad. Like, that really butters my biscuits. And there's a bunch of different examples in case kids can't come up with them. See if they've heard anything like that. Then, when service starts at 9 and 11, your intro activity is called Jump the Line. So what you're going to do is I will put down a masking tape line in your room. I forgot to do that before I made this video. And you're going to have kids line up behind the tape, and then you're going to tell them to jump to the other side when they hear something that might make them angry, frustrated, or annoyed. And you're going to tell them to do big jumps if the scenario would make them really angry, and just a little hop if the scenario would only make them a little angry. And then you're going to read the little suggestions below one at a time, pausing after each one to give kids an opportunity to jump. And if you'd like, you can invite some volunteers to share why they jumped the way they did. So why they took a big jump or a little jump. So for example, a kid cuts in front of you in the cafeteria line at lunchtime. Your dad says no dessert. And there's a whole bunch of ones that they can talk about. Would that make them really angry or just a little angry? And then to close it down, we all get mad about situations. What's most important is what happens next. So let's go hear about someone who was really upset and what he did about it in our large group. So then at 10 after, you will head across the hall to large group. When you get back from large group, you have one little review application game, and it's called Raise the Robe. So what you're going to do is you're going to divide your group into 2 teams, and you're going to line your teams up across from each other, and the team is going to stand shoulder to shoulder. And you're going to give each kid on the team a number. So you'll have 2 of each number. So like each line will have a number 1, each line will have a number 2, each line will have a number 3, and so on. If that is too complicated, you can just do like a relay race, like have the first 2 kids go up against each other and the second 2 kids go up against each other. That's totally fine. So then what you're going to do is one team is going to be the yellow team and one team is going to be the red team. And these are going to represent the pieces of robe that David cut off from Saul. In the little activity guide, it says to grab a rope tie, but I thought that might cause a little too much fighting. So you're going to put the yellow team and the blue team, you'll put these in the middle. So kid 1, you can call out kid 1 from the yellow team, kid 4 from the blue team. That might be a little confusing for our kindergartners and first graders. So you just might say, okay, my first kiddos, here's the question. When you think you know the answer, you're going to run to the middle and you're going to grab your piece of robe and you're going to throw it, you're going to raise it in the air. And if you know the answer to my question, your team gets a point. If you don't know the answer, the other team gets a chance to go and get a point. So then all the little review questions are, they are true or false. are in the front of your folder. So you're just going to go through, ask every question. You can just tell, like, relay race, like one kid from a line goes at a time. And then you'll close it down by saying, we got to steal a little bit of robe today, just like David in our Bible story. And I bet David was really mad at Saul. After all, David didn't try to steal the kingdom from Saul. He was just waiting patiently for God's timing. David tried to honor Saul as the king and not fight him whenever possible. He even kept Saul's kingdom safe with his mighty men in the wilderness. But Saul just kept coming right at David. And David had the perfect opportunity to get back at Saul. Saul was right there, and David could have gotten all of his anger out, all of his frustration in one fell swoop. But what did he do? Yep, he showed self-control. David knew the secret. Don't let your anger control you. And he believed that God's plan was bigger than his anger. So there's going to be times when we get angry. It's a normal feeling, and there's nothing wrong with being angry. But if you let your anger take over, you could do things you really regret that hurt the relationships with those around you. So next time someone cuts in line or teases you or your younger sibling messes with your stuff, remember, don't let anger control you. Then for our memory verse game today, it says we have hula hoops. We don't have hula hoops. We just taped these little things around the room. So we have hug a stuffed animal. That one says count to 10. That one says breathe. That one says walk away. These are 4 things that kids can do when they want to lose their temper. So what you're going to do is you're going to have kids mingle around, and then you're going to read a pause scenario, which is the second page in the front of your folder. So for example, I might say, your little brother breaks your favorite toy. You want to yell at him, but you pause and then you're going to have kids pick something that they would do. Your little brother breaks your favorite toy. What would you do? They're going to go to the option on the wall that they think is best. And then you'll keep going, read all these scenarios. They can pick different ones. You can ask kids maybe why they picked that one if you want. And then you're just going to close by practicing the memory verse and saying, our memory verse tells us that God's power has given us everything we need to lead a godly life. One thing God has given us is the power to control our anger. God doesn't want our anger to control us. And if it does, it can cause trouble. People can get hurt and feelings can get hurt. Instead, like David, we can pause and think about what God wants us to do. So when you feel angry, how can you pause and get control of your anger? Ask kids, are there other ways that you could pause? Maybe pray, punch a pillow, go play a sport. And then make it personal. Tell kids about how you press pause when you feel angry. And then remember, don't be controlled by your anger. And then, so that was our memory verse activity. Then to close it down in prayer, what you're going to do is you're going to guide kids to choose one way that they're going to pause before they lose their tempers this week. So what's one thing that they want to do? And then have kids pantomime the strategy. So have kids practice breathing or praying or hugging their stuffed animal or walking or counting to 10. And kids can keep doing the motions calmly and with self-control as you lead them in prayer. So that is it for this week, guys. I think it's a great lesson. Gosh, so dang practical. I know I need it in my life. So thank you guys so much for leading this week. Y'all are awesome. Don't forget to check out if you have any birthdays in your room. And thank you guys for serving. We'll see you on Sunday.